Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Age of Apocalypse Colossus Build-A-Figure Wave. Damn, that was a mouthful. Magneto. Because why the hell not? I know this figure's like a year old plus now, but let's just say that I haven't been all too enthusiastic about newer Marvel Legends releases as of late. So, you know what? To heck with it, man. So, before we get into the meat and taters of this review, move Magneto out of the way here. Take a look-see at both the front and the back of this windowed packaging. Funny, you could see what you were buying about a year ago. How time flies. Just like that box across the room. Because windowless or not, they always end up in the trash for me. That said, I still think that's, for lack of a better term, bullshit. And a publicity stunt. Because, well, let's see, you can't claim to be this wholesome company when you let go of 1,000 employees, especially one like Corey, who is responsible for a lot of the good things in G.I. Joe Classified series. So Hasbro is still probably #1 worst toy company right now, as far as I'm concerned, because Mattel's not doing that, NECA's not doing that, McFarlane's not doing that, Jakks Pacific's not doing that, Spin Master's not doing that, Jazzwares isn't doing that, Four Horsemen are actually hiring people, and yeah, so you'll put that in your pipe and smoke it, Hasbros. So before this turns into a rant, as far as Magneto's accessories go, we get this very Amon Amarth looking head sculpt here. He looks like one of those dudes. He's got the braids, he's got the long hair. A very nice sculpt on his head. I wish I could put this on a Templar Knight or something from Mythic Legions, but the socket is way too small for that. But I guess you could always hollow it out if you want. But I'm not going to do that. And I wouldn't be able to use it with this figure. Duh. That said, he does come with a pair of open hands, which you could use as turn your head and cough hands. Oh yeah! You knew I was going there. Knew it! Don't act like you didn't. And I believe those are actually the hands and head he comes packaged with. I swapped all that out just to save time. Because again, a year-old release here. And then we got two of these swirly twirlies. I like and hate these. I wish they were a little less gummy so they stayed on the arm better. I know that's a stupid complaint, but I don't know. They just kind of fall off after a while, and it's kind of annoying. That said, I ain't displaying them with those anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. Just kidding, it does, because you still paid money for it, right? Unless you're me and got this guy on clearance for like, what, $10, $15 maybe? From Walmart, of all places. Who doesn't really know what clearance is? Because my Walmart's the type of Walmart that will take a figure and move it to the clearance aisle and put a sticker with like 2 cents knocked off the original retail price. Unbelievable. Doesn't it cost more to pay someone to do that? Seriously? Either way. Take a closer look at Magneto here. He's cool. I dig this look. I kind of wish he had the more Onslaught looking face that was just kind of blacked out with the 2 eyes peeking out. That's kind of how I perceive this version of Magneto. He's drawn like that a lot. Heck, I think the Marvel Universe one was like that, right? Was it Marvel Legends? I don't know. They did it was the tail end of the 3-inch line, back when they had more than like 7 points of movement. And they did this version of Magneto, and first of all, I thought it looked a little bit better. But I think his face was all blacked out, and he had just the 2 white eyes peeking out. I would have preferred that for this figure. If he had that, this figure could have possibly been on my, at least the honorable mentions for my top legends of 2021, right? It's 23 now. Either way, I'll pop his noggin off here so we can get a better look at the articulation. Because he's got the hard plastic cape, which has no peg, so it sits okay on this buck. Surprising it doesn't have a peg hole, though, because it feels like it has a peg hole on the torso. That's weird. But as you can see, it sits alright. I would have just preferred this piece be like glued on top, these be a little softer, and then the cape just be cloth. But Hasbro doesn't like to give the fans what they want, so that's why we don't have cloth capes with Marvel Legends or an updated Danny Ketch Ghost Rider with a bite. So suck on that. That said, as far as Magneto's articulation goes, his head can look side to side, can look up and down a little bit, not a ton. A little bit of tilt. The shoulders go out to the side pretty far. Good enough. Not a lot of marring going on there. I know some of these bucks, the shoulder kind of runs into, is this traps? Are these the traps, these muscles here? And I do believe this is the Spider UK buck, right? I don't know. He doesn't have like the baggy lower legs that figure has, but it feels like he's got the upper legs, so maybe these are different calves, but either way, it's that buck. I wish he was on something like the Captain America figures are put on, specifically the werewolf Captain America, or Kraven, or something like that. I think that fits Magneto's physique a little better, because this, you know, Magneto's a pretty buff guy, he's a pretty imposing guy. This just seems a little scrawny for him. Especially this look, because this was, you know, 90s, and everyone was drawn super over-exaggerated, so it would be nice if we got a little bit more of that, but I guess whoever sculpted Marvel Legends doesn't read comics and doesn't know their ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to comic book anatomy. Which, for those of you who are new to Planet Earth, is it supposed to be like real life? Because it's fiction. Funny how that works. Either way, his shoulders rotate. He's got a bicep swivel, double elbow, which works okay. The top joint is like hindered quite a bit, but you can only really get 90 no matter what you do because of his big gauntlets. So I guess that's fine. I don't know how you could work around that. He does have swivel hinge wrists. I will say you might want to eat those because they're very tight in there. They don't feel like they're gonna break or anything like the D&D figures, I guess, but they do work. Alright, and they are a little bit on the tight side, so just be wary about that. Make sure that's pushed in all the way. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, that's about as far in as that's going to go. As far as his ab crunch goes, he gets a click forward, gets a click back. I will say it's better than some ab crunches we've seen in this line. He doesn't look pregnant when you use it. He's got a waist cut, he's got a belt, it's floaty. Put it around the waist cut to hide it. That's what I tend to do. His hips can kick forward pretty far. Back, hindered by his butt. Move the arm out. Kick out, barely. But it's Magneto. How far does he need to kick out? He's got a thigh cut, double knee. How well does this work? A little bit better, excuse me, than the Spider UK because he doesn't have both folds, but it's still hindered because he's got the one and the boot down here, which can rotate. I will say, even though this guy has pins, holy crap, tight boot cut. Even though this guy has pins, it feels a little bit gummy in the knees, just a tiny bit. He doesn't feel gummy in the cuts. Like this boot cut here, it's not tearing on that peg at all, so that's good. The same thing with the biceps and the thigh cuts here. They're not tearing on the pegs, so that's good. That's what I like. That said, his ankle can go back, forward, pretty good actually. And he's got a ankle rocker with the peg holes at the bottom of the feet. But yeah, not the best, but not the worst. You know, it's got its issues, but for the most part, I do like this figure. And the main reason I reviewed this guy so late in the game is because I already reviewed all the other Age of Apocalypse characters. So I figured I'd do my due diligence and kind of cap things off with this guy. I think I even reviewed the Apocalypse himself from this series. So, you know, I just figured, why the heck not? You know, I like it. It's a Marvel Legend that I'm not going to totally crap on, even though I think the body mold is a little bit less to be desired. I would have preferred something a little bit more built, but hey, it's better than I don't know, half the crap they're doing nowadays, which is mostly movie junk. So don't expect me to pick up that Ant-Man wave. At least not until it's on clearance or something. Well, not even, because I have no interest in that. Is it Cassie Lang Build-A-Figure? You couldn't even call her something interesting, dude? I don't know. Between the crap MCU and then the crap waves, Marvel's just kind of my least favorite thing that I still kind of screw with, believe it or not. Just in the camera here. But yeah, that's Magneto in a nutshell. He's cool. If you want him, get him. I'm sure you can. But with that being said, keep things short and sweet. Let's move on and take a look and see how this guy stacks up next to our two regulars for size comparisons. And as promised, since I don't have any of my other Age of Apocalypse characters handy, here is good old Magneto alongside our two regulars, Mythic Legions, Brother Mandibulus, Lemon Spawn, who as usual towers over everyone, and having good old Magneto here reminds me of how much Al Simmons likes to hang around old guys. So, where's that Cagliostro figure in that Spawn Universe line? Does Todd not own the rights to that character anymore, or what? Either way, with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and even though I am a year late to the game on getting a review out for good old Magneto here, I gotta be honest with you, I like this figure a little bit more than I thought I would, even though I do wish he was on a slightly larger and bulkier body mold than, again, I think this is Spider UK, but don't quote me on that. I just think that suits the character a little bit more, makes him a little bit more imposing, which Magneto is, even when he is a good guy in this sense, right? Is that how Age of Apocalypse works? I don't know. But aside from that, and the fact that I do wish he had a more onslaught aesthetic in the face for this helmeted head here, where it's just kind of hidden in shadow with some eerie looking white eyes peering out of the darkness, because he has been drawn that way in this costume before. I think that would have been a much more popular choice, and definitely would have made me a little bit happier with this release. That said, though, for a somewhat dated figure compared to today's standards, I think this guy is alright. If you're into the whole Age of Apocalypse thing like I am, you guys know how I am with alternate realities and whatnot, then this is a definite must-have. And I don't think he's going for a whole lot of money on the secondary market. And heck, I'm sure he's still in stock for retail price in certain areas, and maybe even clearance price like I got mine for. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you were so inclined, please feel free to do all the YouTube rigmarole, as well as hit me up over on Instagram at Overlord Productions. If you ever want to talk toys or anything in particular, is the #1 best way to get a hold of yours truly. But as always, keep your comments civil. This world sucks enough as it is, especially when not all Marvel Legends have to be gummy, even if they still have pins. This guy still has pins, doesn't feel like he's gonna break. Funny how that works. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.